Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, July 25, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tomorrow night, Wednesday, 26, around 9 p.m. Eastern. That which is real cannot be threatened, and that which is unreal does not exist. That's a powerful statement from the Course of Miracles. I say it often. There is nothing more satisfying to the soul than the deep, profound feeling of deep, eternal love. When you open your heart and allow yourself to receive the divine experience, something very magical happens. All your problems go away instantly. All you see is how beautiful and amazing your life actually is. Deep, eternal love naturally bubbles up from within us when we stop defending and protecting our ego. When the ego is guarded, it's living in fear of someone or some experience happening, and then you miss out on seeing and experiencing God. It's like the old saying goes, if you cannot see God in all, you cannot see God at all. When we can remain emotionally open long enough to experience deep, eternal love, we tap into one of the most sensitive aspects of human nature and discover that our heart opens so fully, we have a heart orgasm. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced that. I've had a few in my life, yet each one was like nothing I've ever experienced before. My body was completely filled with bliss, to the point that I literally could not move a muscle. I felt like my heart expanded 3 feet larger, extended outside of my body, and the entire room seemed to be filled with a tremendous light. I felt more healed, whole, and at peace on every subtle level of my existence. A heart orgasm is definitely one of the most amazing experiences you can have in life. And you can have one. What you'll need to do, so I'll show you what you need to do so that you can have one. Start by mentally preparing yourself for an orgasmic experience so that it can enter you emotionally and physically. It's similar to a sexual orgasm in the sense that you'll first need to decide you are open to receiving one first before you can relax enough to physically let it occur. You certainly cannot force a heart orgasm to occur. This would simply limit its expansive effect. Give your heart permission to experience more love than it can contain. This means you'll need to release any protective shields around your heart, which are keeping your heart experience small and limited. If you've been hurt in any relationship in your past, by your mom, your dad, sibling, lover, or friend, there's a 99.9% chance you have some shields or walls around your heart. You cannot have a heart orgasm if these walls are up. Decide to take them all down, because when having them up, even though you're probably extremely used to it, it feels like a heavy weight sitting on your chest. It may even seem very risky to let down these protective walls. Yet it's even more risky to leave your entire life behind this emotional prison. In the beginning, It may feel very wrong to let down your shields. You might feel like you are naked and that anyone could hurt you easily. When your heart lives behind a wall, you're the only one missing out on the real freedom and joy of this life. It is the person who is afraid of feeling a certain emotion who's tied up and living in a real prison. Fear exists only in the mind. What was at one time in the past a needed shield of protection now has become an emotional prison. Life is filled with paradoxes. Scary feelings you once had soon become the gateway to experiencing more love. The one thing you were once running from suddenly becomes that which you are running toward. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek it and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Rumi. Most people in this society have learned to keep their shields up in public and even in private. They live as an ego that feels deeply insecure, so they need to pretend they are strong and resist being vulnerable and emotionally exposed. The ego is constantly afraid of losing control, being crushed, or taken advantage of. It's quite ironic, yet when it comes to true empowerment in this life, it actually takes a stronger person to let go of control and feel something they are afraid of feeling. You'll need to radically go against the beliefs of society if you wish to have a hard orgasm, as their fears will only keep your walls high and strong. Keep trusting, letting your guard down, allowing for any insecure feelings to arise, as each one is temporary and will soon pass. You'll know when the heart is no longer guarded because a truly amazing phenomenon occurs. The people you once believed should be avoided at all costs suddenly becomes your life's greatest opportunity to grow, love, and experience a higher state of bliss. You realize that an open heart is the divine gateway to exploring an entirely new world. You'll create vulnerability so that you can have a much juicier, touching, and enriching experience of ordinary life. The typical trip to the store becomes an adventure in how profound we can let ourselves feel our heart's true aliveness. We will naturally reach out and let people in to feel us and see the real you. You'll let them touch you so deeply that your heart becomes overwhelmed with tears of happiness you cannot contain. This all starts by allowing your heart to be more sensitive, open, and receptive to the God source, which is within everything and everyone. The divine level of love is bigger than anything you have ever dreamed of. The individual who is always expanding their limitations on love, who is constantly in the act of giving and receiving love, is the real master. The other person who is constantly hiding, protecting themselves from possible pain, is living behind a wall of a great misunderstanding. Who is it that needs protection anyway? This is only your ego, an illusory, limited idea of who you are. Be curious as to exactly which specific experience your shields and walls are protecting you from having again. What would happen if you let yourself dive through this experience to the other side? When you let down your guard, you can be deeply touched by anything. A flower, small tree, bird on a branch. Anything can move you. From this place, you'll gain a profound strength that allows you to enter into the experience of true orgasmic bliss. If you cannot tell if you still have walls around your heart, look towards the most intimate people in your life, past or present, and notice if there is any fear, anxiety, or tension that arises. Notice how you feel when you're with them and what your walls are protecting you from feeling. Write this feeling down, and then write down what the opposite experience would be for you. For example, if you're protecting yourself from feeling sadness, then your walls are also blocking you from feeling joy. If and when you're shielding yourself from confrontation or anger, then you're hiding from feeling empowered and able. Notice what your pattern is when it started, who it came from, and what it will take to be free from it. Do not judge yourself or this process, for it is imperative that you be super gentle with yourself at this stage. After much melting practice, eventually the walls will get in the habit of remaining down. When the heart opens enough where tears of gratitude can swell up inside you any time during your day, you are ripe and ready for your first heart orgasm. It takes a true warrior to trust in this heart-opening process. Yet the levels of ecstasy you'll experience are guaranteed to be nothing like anything you've ever experienced before. Now, there's 3 steps to opening your heart so much that it will take you into having the heart orgasmic experience. For 1 week, every night before you sleep, explore an honest communication with any walls or shields guarding your heart. This protection may be something specific, perhaps from getting hurt by a lover again, or it could be just a general feeling of mistrust in the intentions of others. This step is all about getting to know the armor that you carry so that you can remove it. Get to know the armor that you carry so that you can remove it. Tell your shields how it has done such a great job at protecting you, and thank them for a purpose. And now you are to let it go. Let your shields know that you are ready to trust the divine, intelligent, deeply eternal, loving universe on a deeper level now, and feel that it will provide all the real protection you will need for your experience of your life. Find a creative way to feel completely safe from anything that could harm you from your past, present, or future. Surround your body with white light so you feel 100% protected and can bid your walls a big farewell goodbye. As often as you can throughout your day, rest your attention upon your heart center. Meditate in the space of your heart and open it to feeling the deep eternal love that is inside. Practice relaxing into your heart completely. Let go of your body and relax as much as you can with it. Imagine that inside your heart is the most beautiful flower that is opening its petals to the sun, and it is receiving warm golden rays of sunshine. Let this healing, deep, eternal, loving light into your heart, and let it spread throughout your body. Deeply eternal love feels very similar to how the infinite light from the sun would feel after a long, cold, dark winter. Imagine feeling a golden white infinite light is shining inside this flower onto everyone and everything in your life. This light is eternal and never ends. The infinite connection inside your heart is a key aspect to having a heart orgasm. It keeps on radiating light, giving more and more love, especially when you think you cannot accept it. Open yourself up to your lover, your best friend, or perhaps even a divine being. In your inner world, practice breathing this infinite light of love from your heart into you, into their hearts. And imagine your heart expanding so it's bigger than your physical body. Be patient with this unguarded process. The level you're willing to feel the prison your heart is in is the same level of freedom you'll attain. It may take hours, days, or months before you feel any real shift. Every day, continue practicing until all of your walls are down. Know they've done their job, and it's safe to stop protecting your ego. The more you can trust that who you truly are, the God source, needs no protection. Faster and easier your walls come falling down, the more often you practice on guarding your heart, the sooner you'll start feeling a great lightness build up inside your chest. This is a good sign you're ready to receive your first heart orgasm. Know that it can happen at any time and with anyone, especially when you least expect it. The day on which we come to know the supreme consciousness within us, then the outside world will also appear to us like the expanse of the supreme consciousness. The whole will be a mirror to us when we become a mirror within. If we stand near a stone, then we will be able to see ourselves even in the stone. Then we will not look at the stone with that hardness with which we look at man now. Then we shall touch a stone as if we are touching our beloved, because the stone is not stone. Then it is God. Also, one of the highest experiences we can have in our lifetime is to know yourself as the divine. When you let go of all fear, drop every judgment you have, release all those opinions about yourself and others, you stop believing you are separate from divinity. You can discover a place of sacred refuge within. This is like no other. It's only your mind that makes you think you're separate, when in reality, you're one with the ocean of existence. It's not until you realize that you are not this mind, nor your ego, that this false identity ceases to run the show. You've created this idea about who you are, yet it's just a conglomerate of thoughts and is not who you truly are. Once you drop all separation, only then can you let go and find true permanent peace within. Letting go of all separation, that's a tall order for many. Once you drop all separation, only then can you let go and find true permanent peace within. Some people may say it's blasphemous to see yourself as divinity. Yet, it's totally ridiculous not to. The cause of all suffering in this life stems from the only tiny little idea that you are separate from the source of divinity. When this belief is truly challenged and you relive its grip on you, or relieve its grip on you, there is such a tremendous freedom and love found that you'll never, ever be the same again. I invite you to sit with this challenge this week. You truly want to be free from all the suffering in your life. We must choose to deeply accept in our core that there exists a highly intelligent, conscious, creative source of energy that runs through everything. God exists, divinity exists, and divine intelligence exists. We must choose to feel divinity is like one single thread that is weaving itself throughout every fiber of the entire tapestry of this universe. There is no thing and no person that is not connected intimately with this divine intelligence. Next, we must come to know individuality, our own personal connection with divinity. This is a very intimate understanding that comes only from within oneself. We must choose to understand that this is the connection from where all manifestation happens, meaning we are connected to an infinite field of divine intelligent energy, this universe, where each separate individual throughout the field is the actual center of the entire field. When you realize that you are one of these infinite points from which this entire universe revolves around, you realize every thought you think is connecting and creating your experience of reality in this infinite field. You realize that you are an all-powerful, super-manifesting being who has no limits on what you can attract and create. Lastly, we come to realize that everyone and everything is the same all-powerful source of divinity. Even though the mind may judge others, there is nobody who is not connected to divinity. How can the finger ever work separately from the hand? All things have this divine thread of intelligence running through their consciousness. No matter how unconscious they are, it still exists within each living cell. Once you realize that the divine self that you are is also the same divinity in everyone else, you stop perceiving yourself as separate and see them as an aspect of the infinite self, the real you. The ego is impatient because its time is limited. The spirit is patient because it knows it is eternal. The ego is impatient because its time is limited. The spirit is patient because it knows it is eternal. So the really, really, really big question here is, what can we do to drop the ego? Well, this is a tricky one because there is nothing you can physically do. The ego is an illusion, like a shadow. What can you do to let or to get rid of your shadow? You can't do anything. You simply stop focusing on it and redirect your attention back to the light. You can't do anything. You simply stop focusing on it and redirect your attention back to the light. By simply stopping all association with over-identification with the I or little me, we dismantle the ego and become free. The I thought truly believes it's limited, small, powerless, and separate from the source. You can attest to this as you have all sorts of problems and issues in your life that seem very real. You don't normally feel like an unlimited, all-powerful divine source of energy because you are very attached to your ego and its limiting belief system. The thoughts that say, I am this or I am not that, create our entire ego trip. Once we let them go and stop identifying with them, then we are free from the shadow. So enlightenment is more of an internal game. It's more of an internal game of unraveling your small false self and rediscovering the bigger truth, which is that you also, mainly this unlimited, infinite, vast, all-powerful self, it feels quite blasphemous and is truly quite humbling, to say the least. To fully awaken from the ego, we must release our identification with every positive and negative belief you have wrapped around you. All ideas are limiting ideas. Even the idea that I am God does not have a limitless subconscious mind. Will still find a way to cling to something limiting. The very moment the ego is freed from every single idea, then there is only total surrender to the infinite internal aspect of your being. And this is the moment. There are so many fixed ideas about what God is and what God is not that the subconscious mind will still find a way to cling to something limiting. When you let go of all ideas, because they are all just thoughts anyway, the subconscious mind will still find a way to cling to something limiting when you let go of all ideas, because they are all just thoughts anyway. A very magical thing occurs. You realize you are timeless. The very moment the ego is freed from every single idea, then there is only total surrender to the infinite eternal aspect of your being. And this is the moment when divinity pours into you. It is a feeling of pure ecstasy. We stop being so easily hooked into believing I am XYZ or not ZYX. The very moment the ego is freed from every single idea, there is only total surrender to the infinite eternal aspect of your being. And this is the moment when divinity pours into you. It is a feeling of pure ecstasy. We stop being so easily hooked into believing I am XYZ or not ZYX, because we feel how it instantly creates suffering. Most everyone you will ever meet in your life is living in suffering. So the idea that you could become free from this suffering and life without it will seem like you're some fish deciding to get out of the pond and walk over the land and dive into the real ocean. Every human being will have some sort of negative or positive separation to you, actually giving up your suffering ego when they meet you. It is an event that is life-changing when you actually giving up your suffering ego when they meet you. It is an event that is life-changing when you actually are giving up your suffering ego. And when you meet someone who is free from their ego completely, we are all one. Only egos, beliefs, and fears separate us. The greatest truths in life are radical and truly mind-blowing. All of us are divinity, and beyond all ideas of divinity, simply surrender to that. We are divinity and beyond all ideas of divinity. The only way to know ourselves as divinity is to become unidentified with everything, and also know you are one with everything at the same time. This realization cannot be forced, yet happens instantaneously when we drop deep enough into the exploration of the truth of who and what we are. God is there only if you surrender. Surrender makes anything God. Surrender gives you the eyes, and everything that is brought to these eyes become divine also. We all grow up as kids forming our ego around age 7. This is the human experience. We create this ego so that later in life we can transcend it. This is the spiritual method and madness of awakening. When you believe you are separate and disconnected from a divine, all-loving, infinite source, and think there is no connection at all, your return to divinity becomes even more juicy and amazing. We will each experience this reunification when the physical body dies. Yet the trick is discovering before our human time has ended. We are supposed to believe that our limitations are real. We need to believe in the illusion of lack and struggle, just so that one mystical day you can drop it all. This is the purpose of believing in a lie. When you create the illusion that you are stuck, separate, challenged, and disconnected from the infinitely conscious, loving source, the day you return back to it, you receive the greatest spiritual experience of your life. Divine unification on the deepest levels wouldn't be possible without the illusion and experience of having an ego. It is all perfectly orchestrated. The most divine plan you can imagine, so there is really nothing to worry about. There are already life-transforming seeds in our subconscious mind, which will sprout and grow into trees of abundance, love, creativity, superior health, and unlimited potentiality inside you. Good news is that the universe, this universe, gives us an infinite number of lifetimes to wake up and realize that we are already a powerful, divine, exquisite being who already contains the essential fabric of the divine universe at the core. What more could you want? This universe is already infinitely patient with the speed of your realization, progress of this. You don't need to push yourself to become a better person or even to become free from suffering. Your future self is already enlightened. All you need to do is relax, be present, and slow up authentically in this moment. And you will feel all of your past and future lifetimes come through you. You can do this just by being 100% open to whatever is here now. Be open to whoever and whatever is happening in your life right now. Open yourself up to existence. Let everything and everyone in your heart as if you were actually opening up to the divine. This enlightening opening up practice is about trust. Trusting in a greater, more intimate connection with this life. Divinity is also within the most resistant aspects of our being. Even those parts of who we are saying no to being loved. Look deep enough and you will find divinity. The absolute opening up experience creates a vulnerability in your ego, which is the only place where a permanent state of connection to divinity, deep eternal love, can reside. It is where the path to instant manifestation in the material world and spiritual enlightenment are both found. It is the secret you've been searching for your entire life or lifetime. Opening yourself up fully is finding this real, uncompromised, deeply eternal loving happiness 24 hours a day is the main goal of our life and why we are truly here. We can spend a lifetime trying to be one with the Great Spirit, or simply focus on love and realize we already are. I'll join you in meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out through the mouth. Remain still. Be present. Allow all this efforting to finally rest. And just let yourself experience isness. Feel what it's like to be empty of everything and simply be present to what and who is here now. Relax. Sit back. Bathe in your divine essence. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We will return here Wednesday, July 26, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on around you.